Hello, beautiful soul tribe. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Priscilla Bernstein. I am the soul alignment specialist, and I'm here to do a 1111 portal reading for you guys. So let's see what the energies have in store. I'm going to do tarot and oracle, and I just kind of want to see what comes out. So thank you, Divine Creator and Infinite Spirit, for allowing me to be a conduit, not only for the Divine and Spirit, but for all who are watching, and allowing me to channel the highest and best messages that everybody needs to hear right now. All right. Calling upon Archangel Michael to keep us protected in this portal. Everything's amplified. What is it that we need to know today for this 1111 portal, Spirit? So I just saw the Transformation card, but we just had the Universe fall out, the King of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. I'm not going to read reversals today. Anything else that you're wanting us to know? I just saw the Transformation card again. Five of Swords. What else would you like us to know for this 1111 portal? Starseed and Seven of Swords. Okay. So with the 1111 portal, we're tapping into universal energies. We're tapping into source energy, to all that is. We're tapping into new beginnings, into our access point, right? 1111 really does represent new beginnings, pillars of truth. I kind of want to swing through here really quick and pull out that transformation card if I see it really quickly. Yeah, here it is. Because this is it, like, these are the pillars of truth, right? These are how we're walking in between them when we access this 1111 portal, right? This flew into my sight 3 times while I was shuffling and asking questions for you guys. So this is kind of the energy and the frequency that we are in right now, and everything's amplified. When you see 1111, when you see 111, this is really an indicator from Spirit that you're on the right track, that you are thinking the right thoughts or doing the right thing or saying the right thing, you know, like if you see it as you're having a conversation, really kind of like rewind and be like, what were we just talking about? What was I just saying? Because it's Spirit saying like, yeah, that's it. You're on. This is where we're at. And so we're tapping into universal frequencies today. We're accessing and amplifying into a universal state of consciousness. We are, as a collective, raising our collective consciousness, our frequency, right? We are also in an eclipse season right now. We have a partial lunar eclipse that's happening on the 18th and 19th with the full moon. And when we have eclipses, not only do they create radical change in our reality, but the universe and Spirit does all the heavy lifting for you. So we're accessing energies that we've been in or have kind of been in the frequency of or working through from May and June of this year, December and January, or December of last year and January of this year, and then December of 2013, January 2014. So if you can think back to what was going on in those moments of your life, there's a theme probably happening to bring closure to it. So when we tap into this universal energy, we're tapping into all that is. We're tapping into source, right? And then we have the King of Swords, where we're becoming, this 1111 portal is helping us access not only our truth, but we have here this Seven of Swords, which came out at the end, which honestly, the Seven of Swords is about deceit or deception. So where we've been deceiving ourselves, we're starting to understand what that is. The King of Swords is the fastest king in the deck. He's quick-witted. He's got really sharp mind. And then we have this Five of Swords too, where it's like we feel like we're at an impasse, or like we don't have, or we don't know where to go, or we don't have all the answers, and we're kind of like in our own slight prison, you know, where we're just standing there like, I don't know, I've kind of laid my swords down and I've created something, but I don't quite know where to go from here. But as you can see, she's wearing wings, and she has this beautiful pyramidal yantra above her head. And it's like, you literally have everything you need, babe. You literally have everything you need. You just got to drop the lies. You got to drop the story. You got to drop the narrative that doesn't serve your higher good. You've got to drop that, you know, those ways of thinking or those bad habits. And if you're not doing it, the universe is going to do it for you. And when the universe does it for you, it really usually hurts a bit more, you know, it's a little bit more of a sting. And so we're learning how to access, we're learning how to move out of these energies, right? Where we feel kind of at an impasse, or like we, you know, we've been lying to ourselves, or saying, no, I know what I'm doing. But it's like, no, do you really know what you're doing? Like, are you really on track? Are you totally in alignment? Or are you still doing things that aren't really serving your greater good? You know, like, if you're wanting certain things, or is every area of your life in alignment with those certain things to help you really achieve that frequency, or achieve that thing by being in the right frequency, right? Because it's all about frequency. So we're moving out of that, connecting into source, accessing our higher selves, and being able to see things from a different perspective, being able to change our mind. Our minds are being expanded and open right now, but we don't have all the answers right now, because we're in this eclipse period too. A lot of our answers and like outside resources are being eclipsed by the earth, in between the light that's coming from the sun hitting the moon, right? So it cuts off some of the light, and this is forcing us to go further inward. So the more you can meditate right now, the more you can access your own inner knowing. Pay attention to those signs and synchronicities. Pay attention to the little things coming up in your everyday reality. Pay attention to your dreams and your dream state. We're getting new information coming through, and it's happening at rapid rates, but it's not going to come through in the way that you always thought. It's going to come through in those silent, still, quiet moments. And if you're asking for something, chances are you're not going to get it right away. It's going to come in an in-between moment where you're quiet and still, you know, and all of a sudden it'll come through on a song, or come through in your dreams through your subconscious, or come through in a article or something like that. So be hyper vigilant and hyper aware. Rest if you need rest. I'm gonna pull some more cards just to get some more clarifiers and to see what else we can see that's coming with this 1111 energy. Okay, I'm gonna do one more shuffle. Okay, Spirit, can you show me what is to come with this 1111 energy? Okay, so we got the Queen of Wands, the Hanged Man, the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so what's to come with these energies as we access this this universal energy, as we tap into source, as we tap into, if you guys are not signed up for my Patreon, the last full moon meditation is so freaking huge. Oh my God. It was so beautiful and really helped you to access not only your higher self and tap into source energy, but it also allowed you to look at where you've been blocking yourself, looking at where you've been, you know, in this stuck energy of holding yourself back and where you may have been deceiving yourself. Like, that is what this guided meditation really helps you to access the answers to. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, I invite you to go over and check that out, because it's timeless. You don't have to do it at the new moon or the full moon, but it will amplify you exponentially and get you further. I just saw 1111. Get you further down your path in a way that is so supportive on your own without needing to like work with somebody like me one-on-one. But like, seriously, it will change your life. It will definitely help you. And you get access to all the other ones as well. So as you tap into the source energy here, this Queen of Wands is going to be a result of that. The more that you sit in silence, the more that you go inward, the more that you access your soul and your higher being, your higher knowingness, right? Your higher truths, you're going to be sitting pretty in this Queen of Wands, where you will be activated by source, by spirit, into divine intervention, right? That will activate you in a divine way, that you will be leading your life from divine inspiration. Okay, so this is how I lead my life only. Like, I try not to think too long about things. Everybody's like, what's your plan? What are you doing? I'm like, I don't have a plan. Because one of my favorite quotes is, if you want to make God laugh, make a plan, you know, because you make plans and things go haywire. And so I've learned to live in this constant and consistent surrender experiment, where I'm asking consistently on a daily basis, what is there for me to do today? What am I being called to do today? You know, I allow the flow and where the energy is going to allow me to make my decisions on a day-to-day basis. And so that's where you'll be accessing this entry point for working from, and pretty much only from, divine inspiration. When you're feeling moved, right? This is like the card of the wand suit is all about fire, right? It's about taking action. But as a queen, she sits and she takes action only when necessary, only when needed. She has like super sharp, understands what is what, and is very deciphering. Usually the Queen of Wands is somebody that is like protective and, you know, has a discerning eye. You can even see her kind of look at you like, And so that's where you'll be, you know, knowing that, like this black cat here, you have everything you need, but you're working from intuition. You're working from divine guidance, okay? And as we access this point of utilizing and understanding our divine gifts, right? Knowing that we have wings, knowing that we are connected to source energy, that we don't have, or that we're not at an impasse, that we're not at a place where we don't understand. We're not lost, we're not forlorn, we're not forsaken, you know? We're just being asked to see things from a different perspective. We're being asked to shift and zoom out and see the bigger picture. This isn't just about you anymore. This is about you and me and the collective we. And how can we be of service? How can you step out of your comfort zone and out of this impasse or this kind of self-imposed area that you realize like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know, it's like, well, where can you be of service? Where can you broaden your perspective? Where can you see things from a place of honoring your gifts and sharing them with the world? How can you see that and access that? How can you engage through that frequency of understanding that it takes a shift in your perspective? When you change your perspective, your life changes. When you change the way you look at things, your life changes. When you change the way that you think and you change the way that you speak about things, your life changes. Everything is a frequency and everything shifts around your thoughts, your words, and your actions, because we're energetic beings and we live in an energetic universe. Things are reverberating back to us and magnetizing to us based on our frequency that we carry and we hold, right? So when people come into our lives, we're co-creating all of that. When anything comes into our lives, we're co-creating all of that. And so when we don't like something, we have to take we can't play the martyr. We have to take responsibility for what we are co-creating. What energy have you been outputting? Have you been saying that you don't like something? Have you been saying that you hate this or that? You know, the universe just responds in kind to what you're actively vocalizing. Your voice is your wand, you know, your words are your wand. Your voice is an activation. It amplifies a frequency. Your thoughts are a frequency outgoing. Bing, 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 bing. We're like sonars, you know, with the collective conscious. Like, I can pick up on people thinking about me. Everybody can, but you have to tune in and really dial into your channel in order to access that ability, right? I mean, how many times have you've been thinking about a friend, you've gone to pick up your phone and they're calling you. You're on the same channel. That's why. So when we're on the same channel, we're on the same frequency, that's what you attract. So remember that. What you put out is what you get back. And if you're putting out a lot of doubt, fear, and worry, if you're putting out a lot of this, like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have the answers, it's like the universe is asking you, Spirit's asking you, take a different perspective, go upside down, shift the way you think and you talk, and your life is going to change dramatically. And then the Seven of Pentacles. We can't look, and this is going over the Seven of Swords. So if we can get out of this deceit energy, if we can get out of the lies that we tell ourselves, because we're our worst enemy, we're our own worst enemy, we're our biggest block. If we can get out of this, the next thing is we don't want to be hyper focused on the negative. We don't want to be hyper focused on the things that we were doing wrong, right? You understand what that was, and then you take ownership of it, and then you shift and start to focus on the things that are right. You start to focus on the things that you want. You start to take inspired action based on those things that you want. If we're too focused on our work and the like clearing this up, yes, you want to be focused on what it is that you're doing and understand it, but you don't want to beat yourself up over it. You don't want to be a Debbie Downer or hyper vigilant about like, oh my God, am I doing that again? And like in this state of like consistent worry or fear, because this is all about like watching your crops grow, but you know, they do better when you're not watching them, you know, like they need nurturing and they need you to check in on them and water them and make sure they have enough sunlight and there's weeds not choking them out, but you can't just stare at them and watch them grow, right? That's not how it works. We can't micromanage the things that we're putting into place. So as you move out of this energy, make sure you don't move into micromanagement energy, that you allow yourself to have some fun, that you allow yourself some freedom, because it's not all about the thing that you're creating, right? Yes, that's a piece of it, but again, it's going back to the collective we. We're amplifying into a global awakening. I mean, this has already been going on and we're amplifying that now. So what I've been getting very clearly in my channelings in the morning is we are coming into another massive global awakening. So we had the Great Awakening in, it kind of started with the Lionsgate portal of 2018. And then 2019 was like all about the gear up for the Great Awakening. And 2020, it was like everybody was kind of like shut down to go inward, to focus on themselves and focus on what was important and prioritize, right? And so now in 2021, this is a 5-year, we've been focused on rebuilding our foundation. And when we go through a rebuild and a renovation, there's a huge fucking mess that has to happen first. So with that being said, we're in that like demolition phase. People are having tower moments on almost a daily basis, like there's so much happening in the world. And we are allowing Spirit and the universe is allowing us the frequency and the light codes and the support to really understand what was not working on a global level, what was not working for the collective. With the whole women's Me Too movement, and the whole Black Lives Matter, like everything is culminating to realize that it's like, we're not equal. We don't have equal rights, There's a lot of LGBTQ stuff going on, like there's so much happening on the planet and has been happening over the last couple of years to wake us up, to realize, to say, things have not been right. Things have not been kosher and have not been in a state of balance. We have been living in a paternal society, in a very skewed masculine, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like toxic masculinity and the whole patriarchy, like it's crumbling. It doesn't work because it's not about one being greater than the other. And so on the planet, we're having this huge, beautiful awakening of the divine feminine. And that uprising has already been happening. And so it's balancing the divine feminine and divine masculine within each of us. And so when that has fully taken its course and integrated fully, we will be more balanced on a collective level. So now we're going into this next ascension phase, or this other like round 2 of a great awakening, if you will, that's going to sweep the globe. So that's where this comes in. King of Swords on top of King of Swords. This doesn't happen very often, but this has been happening a lot lately. Like a double on top of one another. Like, you guys, new insight, new ways of thinking about things, new ways of perceiving and taking action. This is all. So in this King of Swords, he's like split into 3. So it's like past, present, and future versions of himself. And in this King of Swords, he's looking straight ahead, has this crone on his shoulder, this crow or raven, and he's just holding that sword steady right in the middle. And so this is the version of us kind of right now, past, present, and future. We're kind of looking around, we're kind of understanding, okay, that's what didn't work. This did work, we need more of this, and this is the trajectory we need to be heading in order to have this balance that's coming. And so as we do that, we'll be more in this kind of flavor of King of Swords, where it's like, no, we're steady. We know exactly where we're going. We're holding that sword steady. We've got this crone on our shoulder. We have the experience and the knowledge of what has come before us, and now we can set our sights straight and just shoot. Okay? How freaking beautiful. And then I love this, on top of the Ace of Wands, on top of those new ideas, on top of that new action that's going to be taken, we have the Ace of Wands. This is seen also, the Two of Wands, or sorry, the Two of Wands. This is Ace of Wands. The Two of Wands and the Four of Wands are both seen as divine feminine, divine masculine. And the Four of Wands is seen as their union coming in together. So this is really beautiful for me to see the Two of Wands coming in here right after this. So as we start to initiate the new action, as we start to take that inspired action and listen to our hearts and acknowledge what our souls want and listen to our sovereignty, that internal truth. If you haven't watched that video that I made about how to utilize your INS, your internal navigation system, please go check that out. I think it's on my YouTube, but if for whatever reason it's not there, please go to my Instagram and check that out, because that is going to help you understand what it is to listen to your internal truth and to live from a place of your own sovereignty, right? Making decisions based on what is inspired within you, because your cellular DNA knows exactly what you need. Your soul is speaking to your cells, and we can heal ourselves. We can transform our bodies. We can literally break free from the paradigm that we're in. Like, we're constantly and consistently regenerating. After 7 years, you're a completely different body than you were 7 years prior, because everything has regenerated. So your mind is very powerful, but your soul is even more powerful. And what you're feeding your mind and what you believe, if you're believing what you're being fed by the news or the media, like, yeah, that's one way about going and doing things. That's one way to do it. You can definitely do that. But if you stop accessing all of that all the time, it's one thing to be aware and know what's going on. But if you're consistently letting that feed the way that you make decisions, you're probably living in a state of fear. You're probably not living in your own sovereignty and in your own truth, because you're basing it off something that you're receiving from an outside resource. So when you learn how to activate and utilize your INS, your internal navigation system, your body, your cellular DNA, it knows a yes from a no. It will tell you very distinctly inside your body, inside your heart. You understand your heart is your compass, your body's your barometer. You understand from there what is a yes for you, what is a no for you, based on your soul's truth. Everyone's soul's truth is slightly different. So not yours is not going to be the same as everybody else's. So with that being said, when you can understand that, you can make decisions and choices based on your own innate soul's truth. This is like a harp hitting the perfect chord, or a choir coming together and hitting the perfect harmony, and it literally sends shivers all through your body. Everybody's felt that, where you're just like, that was it. That was it. And that's your fucking truth right there. When your whole body lights up and does that, that's it. Okay? So wait for those things and those pulls forward. A yes feels like a pull forward. Your body actually leans in. A no, your body will lean back, or your body will constrict in some way. Your throat will tighten up, your stomach will turn, you will feel tension, or you'll clench your jaw. You know, that's a no. That's a no. So watch that video. But this Two of Swords that we're moving into is that divine balance. It's bringing the divine feminine, divine masculine together and finding that balance. It's us finding a state and a semblance of balance within the collective, within ourselves. And look, he's just like looking out at this beautiful ocean. He's like taking in the view. I mean, that's what happens when we're in balance. We can just take in the view. We don't have to work so hard. We don't have to try. Like, that's what this is all about. It's like, stop trying. Get in alignment and everything resonates and starts to attract to you. this is what we're moving into. And so from the starseed, coming inward, starting anew, being the Fool, planting new seeds, listening to your heart. Look at her. She's so tapped into her heart right here. And she has all this activity above her head, you know, like when you're in tune and well, if you know how to channel, when you're in tune, you're channeling, it is like, it's like a lightning storm up here. There's like so much coming in, and that's when you're totally on. When you're not, it might feel like soft things landing in the back of your head, because that's how spirit has to first like engage with you. But when you're fully on, getting a whole download, it's like lots of energy up here. Your crown chakra's open, your third eye's open, you're getting a lot of activations and pulsations in your third eye. Your eyes are kind of twitching. I was called to watch The Matrix last night, and I haven't seen it in like 10 years, you know. But rewatching The Matrix, it's like we have been in a matrix. And the more that the powers that be keep us in a state of fear, they keep us small and they stay in control. So what they're afraid of is for the majority of us to live in our sovereignty, to come into this place of our divine truth and trusting ourselves more than we trust anything else out there. And then we can make decisions based on ourselves. We're not having any decisions made by any media, by any ads, nothing like that. Like when you're in tune and you've got that source connection on lock, you don't look outside yourself. You don't ask anybody for their opinion. You know what is good for you, when to do something, when not to do something, when to activate, when to rest. You know. So that's what we're moving into. Spirit's wanting you to get into that activation phase of being so in tune. This is the 0 card. This is the Fool. But in this deck, it's called the Starseed. They want you to be at that 0 point on a consistent basis. They want you to come back home to yourself, to shut down the outside influence and come inward. And with that, you'll be activating this Queen of Cups. Your cup will be so full. Your heart will be so open. You will be living from overflow. You will be so activated, so turned on, so in bliss. Like, I mean, there have been points in my life on this journey, no freaking joke, where it's like, my life can be pretty freaking orgasmic, you know? And that's what we're stepping into. That's what they're asking us to step into. This journey is not easy. It's not all orgasmic. It's not all juicy and loving and sunshine and rainbows. I mean, shit gets tough. I go into the depths constantly and consistently. I feel my feelings, but I know I can't stay in them for very long. So as soon as I'm done having that feeling, I will do my best to transcend it, to process it, to integrate it, to get whatever lesson I can out of it so I can move on with what it is I'm supposed to do. Because if you allow yourself to stay in something too long, guess what? You become stagnant. And stagnancy brews disease. Stagnancy brews things to rot. And we don't want that. That's not what we want. Okay, so I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards now for this 1111 portal to just see what other messages are wanting to come through from the divine. If you're still watching this, thank you for watching and sticking with this. Please feel free to leave a comment and share this video with a friend if you think it would resonate with them. Okay, Spirit, what other messages do you have for the collective for this 1111 portal? Any other messages from this deck? Okay, that was a clear no. Okay, now I'm going to ask from this deck as well. And just so you guys know, my Oracle deck is almost complete. I'm so excited. And we'll be going to the printers in the next few days. And then when I get those back, they'll be shipping out. And you guys should have your orders either by the end of November or beginning of December. I'm so excited. So any other Oracle messages that you have for this 11/11 portal? Okay, so first you guys got Transmutation. I mean, how freaking beautiful is this card? Not only are butterflies and moths representative of transformation, but look at how both of them are opening up into different portals, and it's like an 11 here, 1 and a 1. So we're accessing these portals of truth. We're accessing and pulling the veil back on all that is, on our connection to source. I mean, this world, the way that we live in it, it's so funny because I wrote a book. It's pretty much done. It needs to go through many revisions and needs to be read by an editor. But if anybody is an editor and would like to help me out, please send me a message. But with this, when we realize that we are a soul living in a human form, and we're literally in this human form, an infinitesimal speck of dust on another infinitesimal speck of dust, floating in a vast multiverse that is always expanding. I mean, light years upon light years, billions and billions of light years upon light years, that is always expanding. And there are so many more, and I say multiverse, there are so many more universes out there. When we realize that, it like really allows us to come all the way back to this pinpoint of us in the grand scheme of things, that we're practically nothing, right? We're just a pinpoint. We're like if you stuck a little drop of water in the ocean. I mean, it's so much bigger than that too, right? And so when we realize that there's so many more dimensions, realities, infinite possibilities that we can access and tap into, why are we living in this small-minded confinement of a life that we have been sold, right? We're moving into transmutation. We're pulling the veil back. We're accessing this source energy. It's available to you. It's available to each and every one of us. First and foremost, you have to believe it. And then once you start to access it, I can tell you from personal experience, I could not make up the shit that I channel. I could not make up some of the shit that has happened in my lifetime that I have personally experienced on a very physical and visceral level. I could not make this up. And if you know, and you've been there too, give me a shout out down below in the comments, because this shit is real. We have access to so much more. So Spirit's letting you know that. And then with the other Oracle cards, you guys got the Light, the Seer, and Rabbit and Fox. I need to read this one because I don't know anything about it. This is a very new deck to me, but I can tell you right now, we're accessing the light. Even though we're going to come into a solar eclipse on the 4th, which will hide some of the light codes, universe has been pouring, Spirit has been pouring light codes into this earthly dimension, into the rainbow grid. We have been given so many new upgrades over the last couple years that we are amplifying. I don't know how many times I've said this whole paradigm and reality is going to change massively over the next couple years. And people think I'm crazy. People are like, what? No. And I'm like, government is going to crumble, the way that our economy works is going to crumble. Like everything is changing, everything. We're coming back into balance. And this 1111 portal is the activation. It is a huge opening. Everything's amplified right now. Think about what has happened to you today. Okay, so we're accessing the light. We're being given the light. We're being shown what to do, where to go. You need to start coming inward and being the seer. You need to see from that third eye. You need to see from within, not from without, not taking in what they're telling you. It's all programming, and it's called programming for a reason. I know I sound kind of like a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, you guys, advertising, my mom has worked in advertising for almost 30 years, okay? Advertising is made, ads are made, marketing is made to get you to buy what they are selling. That is what the media does. They sell you on something that you need. They sell you fear. They sell you a solution. But what they don't sell you is how to access it yourself, how to access your own knowing, how to access your sovereignty, how to access your truth, because they want to continue to keep controlling you. Okay? So you have to be able to, when we're channeling, most of us, when we're channeling, when you're connected to source, your eyes literally do roll back like this. I can tell you when I'm getting a massive download, I've seen it on video. I'm like, oh, that's kind of scary to watch, you know? My eyes are like fluttering and they're turned back in my head, you know? And this isn't a bad thing. This isn't negative, you know? Like, you want to talk about religion, you want to talk about this being something of a dark source, or, you know, like, I don't know who's watching this, but I want to let you know that being a seer, being able to see what is not sold to me, what is not told to me, I can read people's energy. I know when you're lying to me. If you tell me something and it's a flat out lie, I'll be like, okay. I won't tell you that I know, but I know because I read energy. That's what I do. I'm a spiritual mentor, and I'm so tuned in to truth because that is the life that I am, like, the frequency that I'm wanting to live in and I'm wanting to be in integrity with, that I can see through bullshit instantly. So if you've lied to me, I know, it's okay. You felt the need to lie for a reason. No judgment. We've all been there, you know, but once we get into a state of integrity with our sovereignty, there's no more outside of yourself. There's only what happens inward and then how you act on an outward level, right? You have to be the seer. You have to rise above all of the bullshit. You have to rise above your own bullshit. And once you do that, you transcend. Look at all these snakes around her neck. You transcend and you step into that crown that has always been on your head. But it appears because you understand. You know you're worthy because you're receiving at that point. So let me look at this one, and I'll read this one to you guys because I have no idea what this one means. I haven't pulled this card yet. Rabbit and Fox, 29. Okay. Ever wonder why there's a rabbit on the moon? You know what I'm getting with this right now before I even kind of get into it? When I think about Alice in Wonderland being taken down the rabbit hole. So here I am talking about all this conspiracy theory and all these infinite possibilities, and like think back to that childhood story of Alice in Wonderland and going down the rabbit hole. It's like drugs, right? They help you access different parts of your brain. That's why the masses, the powers that be, have wanted to keep marijuana and psilocybin or mushrooms and LSD illegal for so long. I have done it all. don't get me wrong. I don't do any of it anymore because it's not like, once I learned how to access on my own, I don't need it, okay? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I will say if you consistently utilize these drugs to help to open and access different parts of your consciousness, there's nothing wrong with it, but it becomes a crutch is what I want to say. And you can access it on your own. You can learn to do it on your own without those resources, okay? But again, no judgment. If that's your journey and that's your choice, that's all you. But what we do when we open ourselves up to substances like that help us to open up and access different parts of our consciousness and our brain, we can set ourselves up and open ourselves up too much for other entities or energies to come in. So you just have to be really, really careful when you do that, okay? Make sure that you're with somebody in a very safe environment that's going to take care of you, okay? Make sure that you are in a positive mindset, because sometimes if you're just doing it for fun, you can have a very bad trip, a very bad experience. And also if you're doing it and you haven't set the right type of intention, or you're not in a safe environment or with people that are going to help nurture you through the journey that you're about to take, it can turn really dark really fast, okay? So kind of like in Alice in Wonderland, you know, where she tried the bits of the mushroom and one made her big and one made her small. You know, all of this is alluding back to drugs ultimately. But what it does is it helps you to access different parts of your consciousness. It helps you remember. So, I mean, I do Akashic record readings. I work with people's souls and we help them unlock different parts of their consciousness or different parts of their souls that they're needing at this time in their journey that they're ready to access. You know, Spirit allows me to be a conduit to channel all that to you. So you don't have to do it on your own if you're not ready for that, right? Or if you feel like you're blocked or you don't know how to access these abilities on your own and you're too scared to go into experimentation with drugs, then, you know, I'm not saying do them by any means, you know, but it's like you can work with somebody like me or another healer or light worker that does these things that can help support you in your journey is what I am saying. So with all that being said, let me finish what this card says. Ever wonder why there's a rabbit on the moon? Of all the creatures on Earth, the rabbit was most generous. One day, Lady Luna visited Earth. All the animals gathered around to greet this new visitor, and they brought her gifts. Some brought wood, others gathered fruit. The fox gathered fish from the river, while the poor rabbit offered grass. The rabbit told the lady to make a fire from the grass and wood. In return, he offered his body so the lovely lady would live. In return, she brought the rabbit back to life and took him to the moon to always live with her. Generosity begets gifts. Always offer what you can. Oh my God. This is like almost bringing me to tears. Because what did I say, you guys? When we get out of this, I'm like really on the verge of tears here. When we get out of this energy of like lying to ourselves and not wearing our crown and not, when we stop the deceit, when we stop listening to the lies, when we stop listening to what we're being fed and we allow ourselves to come in and we don't allow ourselves to go into this kind of micromanaging or focusing on the negative, but we focus on our service and what we're doing in the world, when we're hyper focused on giving from a full heart here, and being in this balanced, integrated state, how freaking beautiful is that? Gifts, what did it say? Generosity begets gifts. Always offer what you can. God, like literally that last line makes me want to cry because it's so true. It's like, if all you can offer is an ear to someone, offer that. Without giving your 2 cents. Maybe they just need to be listened to. And instead of giving your 2 cents, ask them if they want advice before giving it. Because like I said, your truth may be very different from their truth. Unsolicited support and help never really works. I had to learn that the hard way. It never really works. So this is all I have for you guys. I hope it was helpful. This was so fun. I loved doing this for you all. Happy 11/11. Hop over to Patreon and do that meditation. I'm about to upload it now. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your eclipse period. And I'll see you guys again soon. Oceans of love. Ciao.